Welcome everybody from the video store, Cinemaster's Reviews. I'm your host, Payson Johnson, and thank you for joining me for the first episode of Cinemaster's Reviews. I'm just going to give people a little bit of a second to get in. So before we head in, I'm going to just talk with you guys about some stuff. First off, I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining. I want to thank Mike Hanley and everyone else at the video store who is giving me this opportunity to talk about movies, specifically new releases, in this way. As many of you know, I love movies. I love them with every fiber of my being, and I love every Friday just going out and seeing the new movies that are coming out, and I just love talking with them. With people. And when the video store was planning on making a show to review new releases, I'm very, very happy that they reached out to me. So today we are going to be reviewing two movies, the two big movies that did come out, which are Knock at the Cabin and 80 for Brady. I'm going to give people maybe about a minute to get in. I know with it being live, some people like to wait right for it. And then, so yeah, once we review both movies, I'll probably leave about 5 minutes at the end to answer some questions. I'll also be keeping a track on questions throughout the show. So if you do want to ask a question, I have no issue highlighting it. Just obviously keep the chat respectful, because not about that here on this show. This is going to be a generally PG-13 show. I don't want to get too crazy, even though I don't have any barriers, so if I do end up getting too mad, forewarning. Probably won't, though. Okay, I'm going to get started with the first movie we will be talking about today. Going forward, every Monday, I usually like to talk about the big major movie first, and then sort of work my way down. So the first movie we will be talking about is Knock at the Cabin, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. This is a movie about a couple, two husbands and their daughter, vacationing up north to a cabin. And when they get there, they are welcomed by four intruders that tell them that they are the essentially forebringers of the apocalypse, and that they will be forced to their family will be forced to make a sacrifice. The family must choose, or else the apocalypse will essentially happen. M. Night Shyamalan is a director that, while I don't always love his movies, he's someone that I love to root for, just because he loves making original ideas. He loves coming up with cool, unique stories to present to the audience. Even though this isn't like quite an original idea, I believe it's based off a graphic novel. It is still, I think, with all the IP stuff we get nowadays, I think it's original enough. So yeah, this is definitely you can tell this is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, mainly because it has a lot of his trademarks, for better or for worse. You do have that tension that you get with a lot of Shyamalan movies, but at the same time, he does still dive into the things that he is famous for, that some people like to make jokes at. Now, I know a lot of people do defend that stuff. I know a lot of people tend to have fun with that, but they can get a bit annoying. I remember the first conversation between the two characters. It involves a child, and that child is talking like every child in a Shyamalan movie, where they're just talking like an adult, where it takes some getting used to, but I would be lying if I said that does annoy me at first. But with that being said, I do think the girl they got to play the child, Kristen Cui, is excellent. I think she really, really handles these perilous situations that the family gets into very, very well, and always makes you invested that much more, because I don't know if you guys are the same way, but when I'm watching a movie and a child is in danger, I'm already a little bit more invested, because you don't want to see bad things happen to kids. I think everyone can agree with that. Definitely the highlight of this movie for me was Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista is someone who has really, really impressed me with his career choices as an actor in the past and now all the way up to here. I think last year, I think he was a highlight of Glass Onion, one of the funniest characters in that movie, just playing like this ultimate like bro Twitch streamer. But it's the exact opposite of this role, where he is so quiet in this role. He is so controlled, but that is what makes it feel so dangerous. Like the second his character comes and is talking with Wen, the little girl, you are immediately on edge. And I think the unique thing about his character, Leonard, is that he does not want to be the one to put this family in danger and does not want this family to have to make a sacrifice, but you feel the pain that his character is going through. Shyamalan has a very unique way of writing. His writing can often come off a little stilted, which it does at times here, but man, Dave Bautista is just able to sell it so well, and I give him all the props. I know he's talked about how he does not want to be viewed as a movie star, and I think that you can really tell with movies like this. Yes, thank you so much, Kelly. Yes, children in danger and cats in danger. That's always honestly, animals in danger for me is another major thing. But yeah, no, Dave Bautista, he just sells these situations. The other actor I really want to shout out is Ben Aldridge. He plays one of the dads that are taking care of Kristen Cooey's character, and I think he's the skeptical dad. Like when these four strangers show up at their cabin, he is the one that is immediately like, "You guys are crazy. There is no reason why you should be taking our family hostage, and I'm not going to believe you in whatever case." And his character is definitely, I love how intense he got. Like, he is definitely the actor that is the most intense here because he just wants to protect his family, and I think he does an excellent job. Unfortunately, I think Jonathan Groff, I wasn't quite sure what he was doing. He plays the part in a very, like, whispery way, where his, which, to be fair, his character early on in the movie does suffer a concussion, so that may have been it, but I was a little confused by those choices personally. But yeah, Ben Aldridge, I just think is incredible. I think the score I might mispronounce this. I apologize. By Hertis Stefan Dotzer, it can be a little intrusive at times, but I think it does create an ominous sense. And when I think about the scenarios in this movie of just these strangers just terrorizing this family, I think of this score. The best part in this movie, and I swear this is not a spoiler, there's a point where one of the family members is able to get loose, and they're trying to get to a weapon. And I think this is the highlight of the movie. Thank you, Nazario. Yeah, I think this is the highlight of the movie because this is the peak of the tension with the movie. You just want them to get away so badly. You want them to win, and I think the negatives haven't quite on set of this movie quite yet. I think my major complaint with this film, and this is something that plagues a lot of Shyamalan films, is just how it's filmed. There are so many close-up shots where it is literally just the actor's face, where it's just this. And it just keeps cutting back and forth to different actors, and they're all like this. And I get that, like, he's doing that to make you feel uncomfortable, but there comes a point where I'm just like, man, just pull the camera back, please. Please, just pull it back. We will be invested in your movie if you do that. Like, you don't need to. It feels weirdly overcompensating if you understand. Like, he's almost thinking like the audience isn't going to feel invested unless I just shoot that really close. And it's like, no, we will be invested. So yeah, that's probably the major thing I really didn't like about the movie. And going forward, like, I love Shyamalan. I know he has his own style. Please get a new director of photography because I think that would really suit your movies much more. The plot, knowing that this is a home invasion movie, It kind of goes where you would expect it to go, maybe up until the end. I'm not going to spoil anything. Pacing of spaghetti sauce. I'm not sure. Is that? Sure. Yeah. Yep. You got it, Garth. Yeah. I promise I'm not going to spoil anything. Which, by the way, this is not a spoiler show. It's just where you can hear my thoughts on movies. But the invasion essentially goes the places you would expect it to go. I think certain invaders are more interesting than others. Of course, the one by Dave Bautista is definitely the most interesting. I think the one who is played by Abby Quinn is also excellent. Rupert Grint, I don't think is quite up to the challenge of delivering this dialogue or playing this character. But none of them are like I would say none of them quite like ruin the movie in any way, but none of them are on Dave Bautista's level, unfortunately. The ending is one where I will give it credit. It is one that has had me thinking about it since I saw the movie. I saw the movie on Saturday, so it's been 2 days, but I'm still not quite sure I was very satisfied. Without spoiling, the characters are eventually just convinced at one point that something that they haven't been believing has been happening is happening, and I think that just came way, way too close, and I just think that you could have gotten to this ending maybe a little smoother. Honestly, if I'm being honest, you probably could have added maybe 10 minutes to this runtime. It's about an hour 40, so yeah, an hour 50 minutes. Add a little bit more to this runtime to make it make the choices that the characters make towards the end make a little have a little bit more impact instead of making it feel a little bit more rushed towards the end, because this is a movie that I wanted to like. It had moments of greatness, but these little things about it just kept me from loving it, and that's why I just can't say that I love this movie, and why I can't just tell people to immediately rush out to the theater, because I want to support these types of movies, but there are just a few too many faults. So if I were to rate, actually, no, we're going to be saving our ratings towards the end of the show, so stick around for after that. But yeah, Knock at the Cabin is a movie I enjoyed, but I hesitate to say I loved the movie. Kelly asked, do I think February was a good release for it? I would say I don't think it's the worst, but I think it could have been released maybe in a better month. If you weren't going to put it in January where you have nothing, and of course this January is different because we have Avatar 2, The Way of Water, and all studios want to get out of the way for that. I think September would have been a really, really nice place for this movie just because that's usually where the summer is starting to wind down, and if you could have put that there and just get some legs going until October, I think that would have been a really, really probably a better strategy, especially because the beginning of February is usually considered like a dry month. Yeah. Knock at the Cabin, enjoyed it, didn't quite love it. So we will be moving on to our second movie now. If I can just get the banner. 80 for Brady. 80 for Brady, directed by, directed by Kyle Marvin. Did not have that director memorized, quite like M. Night Shyamalan. But yes, directed by Kyle Marvin, is about 4 women, actually 3 women in their 80s, 1 in their 70s, she will have you know throughout the movie, who are huge fans of Tom Brady. The movie is set in 2017, and it is about them trying to get to the what they think could be Tom Brady's final Super Bowl. And throughout the movie, just you see their wacky hijinks come up as they try to get to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to come out and say it. When I saw this trailer, I didn't think it was a real movie. It seemed so ridiculous, so far-fetched. It looked like one of those fake movies. It looked like one of those fake movie trailers at the beginning of Tropic Thunder. If you've seen that movie, it just didn't seem real. But through my shock, I honestly really, really enjoyed this movie. I'll be honest, just gonna get this out of the way. This is a turn your brain off movie. I don't think that you hear that phrase thrown around a lot, turn your brain off. And I think some people use it as a crutch towards movies that maybe shouldn't be that. But then there are movies like this where I'm like, yeah, I think that's okay. Sometimes you can just make a very entertaining movie, and this is one that does. Can't stay for long, but I'm so glad to get to hear you talk about this movie while I'm here. Yes, thank you, Bar. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, nothing about this movie is like super realistic or super grounded, but I don't think people were walking into this movie for it. You walk into this movie to see these four incredibly talented and lauded actresses just have fun, which is what you do. Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Sally Field, and Rita Moreno are the four leads of this movie, and they are what make this movie work. You can tell they aren't trying too hard, but they're just there to have a ton of fun, and I think each character adds something to the movie. Sally Field's character was easily my favorite. She plays this, like, math-obsessed football fan that is always just there to tell you, like, the statistics of all the players, and I think that's really, really funny. She's just super sweet in the movie. Jane Fonda has a ton of funny lines as being this woman that age is not quite caught up to her and is still going after all these guys, and all her friends keep getting mad at her during the trip because they're like, this is supposed to be a girls' trip. And Lily Tomlin being like the heart of the movie, being the one that brought all their friends together, I think is really, really great. Yeah, if I could talk about some complaints with this movie, there was a part towards the middle where they go to a party before the night of the Super Bowl that I think just goes on a little too long. If you've seen the trailer, this is not a spoiler. They end up taking some drugs, and there is a decently funny drug trip scene that I think goes on a little bit too long. Bob Balaban is in this movie. He plays Sally Field's husband, and I weirdly thought he was one of the highlights for the film. But yeah, the actual second half of the movie where they are trying to get into the Super Bowl, a lot of fun hijinks, insane things to think. One of the characters has like these like existential thoughts with like an imaginary Tom Brady, which I thought were pretty dang funny. The heart of the movie, like the crux that I think keeps the movie going forward, is revealed about halfway through why all four of these friends getting together for this Super Bowl is so important. It's a little telegraphed, but I don't think that's too big of a deal, and it does add a little bit of a heart to the movie. And I think the movie just has a really nice sort of like message about friendship. Yeah, and I think that's that's about everything I want to say on that one. If I were to rate these movies, Knock at the Cabin, I should probably explain my rating system. I'm going to be rating movies on a scale of 1 to 10 videotapes. This is the video store, so we're going to rate by videotapes. 5 is always my average. I will always go with a 5 as an average, not a 7. 5 is an average right in the middle. A 10 is the best you can get. A 0 is the worst you can get. If you get a 10, I'm making a new rule. A 10 is not 10 videotapes. A 10 is 1 4K. So if I were to rate these movies, I would give Knock at the Cabin probably around 6.5 videotapes out of 10. It's decent. It's just has a bit too many things holding it back that keeps it from greatness. And I might get canceled on this first week just because I'm giving this movie a higher rating. I would honestly give Knock at the Cabin probably around 7 videotapes out of 10. I think it's a good movie. I think it does what it needs to do. Doesn't overstay its welcome by any means. Like I said, there are some points that drag it out, and as you might expect, there's nothing really new you will see from this movie. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying myself as the movie was going on. All right, so before I head out, I'm going to just open it up to the comment section. If anyone wants to throw some comments my way, we can talk about any of these movies. We can talk about just things in the movie industry right now. I'd love to hear from all of you. Questions and comments right there. Anyone else excited for the Oscars coming up? I'm catching up on my Oscars movies right now. I'm seeing Living tomorrow, So hopefully that will be well. Bill Nighy getting his first Oscar nomination. Did I say Knock at the Cabin for both movies? First episode, working out some kinks. I'm at 80 for Brady, gets a 7 out of 10. Knock at the Cabin gets a 6.5 out of 10. Kelly brings up Kelly asking the ultimate question. What is the ultimate theater snack choice? I'm a popcorn guy. I know it's so boring, but popcorn is my favorite snack. I put a lot of butter on it. Okay, first episode, I'm going to give you guys the ultimate butter secret. Here's what you do. I usually go to AMC, so at AMC, they have the butter dispensers for all of the guests to use. When you get your popcorn, you ask for a box, and when you get that box, you dump half of your popcorn into that box. Then you butter the first layer. Then dump the second one back into the bag, and you butter the top layer. Maybe put a little bit of salt, and that's how you get the butter halfway through. As like Garth said, yes, you always do butter halfway through. And Kelly just asked, salty or sweet popcorn? Salty popcorn. I between salt and sweet, I will always choose salty every time. Andrew Barr asks, Guy Fieri, is he any good in 80 for Brady? He's playing Guy Fieri. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, he gets the job done. You would expect Guy Fieri to be in this movie. Definitely playing it up for the meme, but yeah, he's decent in the movie. All right. I'm going to leave questions up for a little bit longer. See if anyone has anything else to ask. You ever toss in candy to your popcorn like snow caps? No, not really. Popcorn's fine. And I wanted to say, if I'm getting a hot food at the movies, mozzarella sticks. AMC has great mozzarella sticks, and I will show for them any day of the week. Melissa asks, what is my favorite Shyamalan movie? Probably Unbreakable. I just think Unbreakable is great. I think what he did back in 2000 with sort of deconstructing the superhero genre, even before superhero movies became like super popular, was really, really unique. I remember seeing Split in theaters, and when that post-credit scene happened and seeing David Dunn, I was just like, this is amazing. But yeah, I would say Unbreakable is my favorite. And Andrew Barr asked, did you go to Flavortown? I go to Flavortown every time I go to Five Guys. I got some Five Guys after that movie, so it's pretty good. Thank you all for showing up today, for watching me. Please remember to like and subscribe to the video store. Late Shift is on Fridays with Mike and Kelly. It's always such a fun show. It looks like we got one more comment. What's coming out next week? Yeah, thank you so much, Bar. I was about to get into that. Next week, join me back same time next week for Magic Mike's Last Dance and a new horror movie called Consecration. I'm trying to review at least 2 to 3 movies a week, which I'm usually just trying to keep it to the wide releases. So, yeah, just wanted to give everyone a sneak preview, Magic Mike's Last Dance and Consecration. Garth says, speaking of M. Night, what is your favorite drink that's served with a twist? I enjoy my White Russians. I quite enjoy my White Russians. Thank you all. This has been a really, really fun show. Once again, like and subscribe to the video store. Buy their shit, as Mike and Nazario will always say. Thank you, Mike, Nazario, Kelly, for welcoming me onto the team. Thank you all for showing up to the pilot episode of Cinemaster's Reviews. I hope to iron some kinks out. But yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you next week.